So thank you so much for everyone for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about year-end tips for the IRS and for tax season 2023. So my name is Catherine Cruzy and I'm the Client Service Manager here at HKA.
And I'm Jake Shockley and I'm a Senior Tax Accountant here at HKA.
So Jake and I really like to do webinars together because I always feel like I get a good sense of what's going on from a client service perspective, what concerns or questions clients are calling in about regularly.
And I've been preparing tax returns and calling the IRS and dealing with notices for the past 6 years.
So we kind of do a good job, I think, of covering both sides. What are people wondering? And then what's actually going on with the IRS. So if you have any questions today during the webinar, we really encourage you to ask them. You can either click on the question and answer button at the bottom of your screen, or you can send me a chat specifically, and I'm happy to answer all of your questions. We really encourage you to ask those questions because that ensures that we're really answering what it is you're wondering too. So please don't hesitate to ask them. Our contact information is also at the bottom of the screen. You'll notice that HKA has changed our email addresses. They're now first name at hkacpas.com, although we are also still receiving emails to our previous email. So agenda for today, we've got 3 items we want to talk about. 1, what are our top 3 recommendations for working with the IRS in the upcoming year? 2, what are our top 3 recommendations for getting ready for HKA's tax season? And then 3, we want to be sure that we are answering all of your questions that you might have about the IRS, about tax season, etc.
So the top 3 recommendations that HKA says is to sign up for an IRS web account, get an identity theft protection PIN, making payments, tracking your payments, and tracking your tax return status on the IRS web account that you've not created.
What I've been trying to customize is saying, in order to keep the IRS off of the IRS's radar, we recommend you putting them on yours.
So this is the main page. When you go to irs.gov, this is what you see. It might be a little bit different now, but the bottom part is the main portion. So if you're waiting on a refund from your just normal tax return, you still haven't received it. Well, if it's December and I haven't received it, you should call. But if you want to check it, check your refund status. You go to the where's my refund right here at the top left. You enter in some information. We'll kind of show you that a little bit down the road. And then this will tell you whether or not you either are waiting for it, there's an issue, or you've already received it. Next is signing into your account. This is where you're going to go to either create your web account, or if you've already created it, sign in and get access to it. Check your amended return status. This is something they've implemented in the last couple of years because of the amended return processing fiasco. So this is where you'll go to track the processing of your amended return. They'll tell you whether they've received it, they were processing it, and if it's been completed. Next, make a payment. This is where you're going to go if you don't have a web account to make a payment. This will give you the options of paying through your bank account, credit cards, anything like that. And lastly, get your tax records. This is for getting transcripts for an account transcript, wage and income, and return transcripts.
So pretty much anything you could think of wanting to do with the IRS is right here on this account page. It's very easy to sign up for an account with the IRS. We're going to be talking about it throughout the duration of the webinar. Jake and I have both signed up for accounts. I have helped my husband sign up for an account. And what I can tell you is that it doesn't take more than 10 or 15 minutes at max. And though the beginning is a little bit complicated, what they're trying to do is really secure your identity. And then after you've done that, it's just as easy as signing into any other web account that you've created. So in order to sign up, you just go to the IRS account and say, sign in or create a new account. And then it's going to take you through a series of prompts to confirm your identity. It's going to confirm your email. It's going to confirm your cell phone number. You can install an IRS app if you would like to. I have the app. I think it's kind of nice. And then it's actually going to verify 2 photos of you to prove that you are who you say you are. So one is you'll upload a picture of yourself, such as it has to be a government issued license, like a driver's license or a passport. And then you'll take a selfie that it will analyze to make sure you are who you say you are. This will take like maybe 10 minutes. You can also opt for an interview with an IRS agent if you want to get a little bit more complicated. But once you have the account set up, it's very easy to use and very, very helpful, in my opinion. These are just some screenshots of what it's going to look like as you verify.
Next is the IRS Identity Theft Protection PIN. So what this is a 6-digit number that the IRS mails to you that you use to then file your return. If you do not have this number, or someone else tries to file your return without the number, it won't work. You can't e-file without it. It might sound a little bit stressful for me explaining that, but it's very, very helpful, and it can cause extreme protection of your identity. It's one of those things that it'll make sure no one's filing on your behalf that you don't want them to. And this number that you get, you'll get every January. You get, like I said, you get it in the mail, and it will be the code you use for whichever return you're filing that year. So if you're late and you need to file 2020 or 2021, you'll use that code that you received for that year.
Or if you're amending.
Or if you're amending.
So number one way to protect your tax identity online is to get this identity theft PIN. Extreme identity protection, like Jake said, but I always like to, again, from a client service perspective, tell you that when you get this PIN, it's very hard to get a new one if you were to lose it. So as soon as you get it in the mail, wherever you keep documents that you just can't lose, keep this PIN. There are a couple of ways to try to get a new PIN if you were to lose it, but we haven't, to be perfectly honest with you, had a lot of success with different clients. So really recommend holding on to that PIN and making sure that you keep it with you. But again, the pro is that this is the way to protect yourself against identity theft protection. Some people are required to have a PIN if they've experienced identity theft in the past. This is the best way to get it if you want to prevent that identity theft from occurring in the first place, at least from an IRS perspective. And you can also get this by going to your IRS account and clicking on, I think it's in tools, and get an identity theft protection PIN.
Mm-hmm. Or you can Google it, IRS IP PIN, and it'll take you right to this page.
Absolutely. So it's going to walk you through it. Again, it's going to go through a couple of verification steps. Highly, highly recommended to get it. But also on the flip side, be sure that when you do, you keep it and you know where it is.
Keep it and send it to us, because we're going to need it no matter what when we prepare your tax return. So sending it to us when you get it just ensures that we have it, and we're going to have it in our documents.
Yeah, fax it, upload it, send it to us in a secure email, however you want. So third recommendation for once you have an IRS PIN or an IRS account.
Making electronic payments through your IRS account. Past year, we've seen a lot of issues with people trying to make payments through checks. The IRS either holds the check for too long and then cashes it when you don't want them to, or cashes it late and assesses penalties. Or businesses make payments on behalf of their partners and they make it to the wrong account. This is going to make sure that, one, you're paying to the right account to the proper year. Two, you're making sure it's instant. It's going to get processed on your account within 24 hours. You'll see it through email, you see it through your web account, and then you eventually will see it in your bank when it finally gets pulled. This keeps everything in one place. It's easy to track down. If you are in the event of a tax notice, you can find it very easy. You can track any payments you made. I recommend it to anyone for IRS, Missouri, any state that you do. It's the most recommended way, I would say, because it just prevents so much of a headache that might not be your fault, but then you have to go back and deal with it.
I make all of my payments online through the IRS. My husband has a small business that we have to do estimate payments. And I have to say, like, the instant confirmation is really important to me and really helpful. So it's going to show up in your account under your records immediately once you go to the IRS site. You're going to get an instant email from them, so that in the event you can't get into your account, you have that email record instantaneously. And then you have kind of both of those things right at hand, as opposed to having to find the canceled check if you don't want to have to look through your canceled check or worry about the certified mail. Even when you mail your check certified, like Jake said, We've just had a number of clients where their checks, like they might have arrived at the IRS, but then they don't get cashed for weeks. And then the client has to worry about, did they lose the check? Are they going to cash it at the wrong time? Am I going to get a notice saying I didn't pay when I clearly did? We've had multiple issues with that, especially people who send in their checks like the last day of the deadline, who've almost immediately gotten IRS notices accusing them of not paying on time when they did. So that takes out all of the headache, and you really do have that instantaneous confirmation right there. Very easy to do. You simply go to your IRS account, choose that you want to pay online, and then you can see that there are a variety of different options for you. One is that you can sign in and pay to see your payment history right there. You can also pay directly from this page through a bank account or credit card. It's always going to be more cost effective to do it through an ACH with your bank. They charge, I think, less than $1 to process a payment. But if you want to get credit card points, or if you don't have access to your bank account immediately and you want to pay by a card, you can do that as well. Just pay attention to the fact that there are definitely higher credit card processing fees for choosing to go that way. So just pay attention before you put in a card if you aren't expecting that fee.
One thing I'll recommend if you do an ACH for the bank is making sure that you know the monies are going to stay there. There's a lot of times where people try to do an ACH and it comes out of the bank and they either don't have sufficient funds, something gets moved, something is wrong. IRS will charge penalties for that, and it can be steep.
Definitely. So obviously kind of common sense there, pay attention, but absolutely pay online. Like we said, afterwards, you'll be able to get that email confirmation. You'll be able to look at it in your account, and you'll know instantaneously that it's there. You don't have to track your certified mail or watch out your bank account. It's going to happen within the next couple of days. The other thing that you can do straight from your IRS account is check on your refund status. And I'll let Jake talk a little bit about that.
So this is the thing I alluded to back in the first couple of slides. This is the where's my refund status. You're going to go through and enter your tax information here for the last 3 years if you need it. And so you just enter in the tax year you want, your social, filing status, and the refund amount. Note that this has to be the whole dollar, or the exact dollar. If you enter this wrong or round, they're not going to give you the information. So if you need that or need help, give us a call. We're happy to walk you through this.
Definitely. All right, so before we move on to HKA's tax season recommendations, does anyone have any questions about the information that we've covered so far, or just any questions about the IRS working with them in general? We're going to talk a little bit about it towards the end, kind of the big question that's looming. The IRS has hired 80,000 agents. What now? We will address that kind of towards the end. But if anyone has any questions right now, you can send me a chat, or you can use that question and answer panel. I have it up right here. So.
All right, so the top 3 tax season recommendations that HKA recommends. Signing into your new HKA portal early,
Okay.
Filling out your organizer questionnaire, and sending us your information early.
So many of you know, because you read the email that announced the webinars, you also now know that we have a new HKA portal system, and we are very excited to push this out to you for you to use it. You'll officially be granted access to those portals kind of in bulk in January. But if you'd like to get started now, you can just call the office and we're happy to get you set up on the portal. It's very easy to do. We think it's a better system than we had before. It's much more user-friendly. You can do the multi-factor codes to your phone. You can sign up for the app if you'd like an app, but there are a lot of different ways that you can sign up. And just before I keep talking to you about the portal, we did get a quick question. Any downside to signing up to the IRS website? Will that put you on an audit list? That's a great question. I will let you answer that, Jake.
Absolutely not. This is going to make you be proactive with the IRS. The IRS isn't going to see, oh, you have a web account, but you're going to be more in tune with what's going on with your return. You're going to make less mistakes with payments. So if anything, it's going to decrease your audit risk.
A key factor to think about when you think about now the question like, what is going to put me on the IRS's radar? It's like a little bit, I don't know, out there, but you want to that you're already on their radar. Like right now, the IRS is processing a lot of your returns through a computer system. If the computer sees something it doesn't like, it's kind of checking a box, but sending you a notice sometimes. Like a lot of times you're getting notices from a computer and not from a person, which is why a lot of times they feel totally off base. So one of the things that we like to pay attention to is just recognizing that you are actually just already on the IRS's kind of like list. And I think the web account really helps with accuracy. So the accuracy of knowing immediately what your payments are, the accuracy of knowing immediately if you have any notices are open. So that's something that's on the account that you can look at for many IRS notices. So this account is really, I think, allowing for the specificity of seeing kind of exactly where you are. Another thing that the account will show you is if it believes you are caught up on your payments. So if they have something in their records on you, like if they think that you're behind on a payment, they think that you owe something to them, that's also going to show up on that dashboard. So we really think that it's actually better to kind of keep them on your radar than like wonder if they are, if they're like kind of circling around you. And like having that IRS site, being able to look at your status, look at your payments, et cetera, is really allowing your ability to do that more effectively.
Yeah, it's not going to, like I said, add any type of audit risk. It's honestly the most thing that we recommend because it's going to be easier for almost anything that you do. If you were to somehow get a notice, easy to pull payments. If you need to make estimated tax payments, makes it 10 times easier to make those to the IRS.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have any questions, like further follow-ups on that or like more in-depth questions, definitely either send them to us through the chat and we can address them, or we can always set up a phone call as well if you have specific concerns. Awesome. So back to the portal, new web portal. Everyone will get kind of a welcome email in January, but if you'd like to get that set up sooner rather than later, just feel free to contact us and we can get you set up with that. The previous tax returns are not going to transfer over to this portal automatically, but if you ask us to set them up on your portal so that they are available, we're very happy to do that for you.
Next is the organizer questionnaire. This is one of the most important things we ask clients to fill out whenever we give them our organizer and the organizer questionnaire. This gives us a list of things that could possibly have changed during the tax year. So marital status, address change, banking information. If you actually decided to sign up for an identity theft protection PIN, if there's a question for that, and then more of the what has changed with my tax return type of thing. So gambling, and if you have income there, if you've sold your house, gave money to a charity, it's all going to be on there. This helps us pinpoint the things that we need to ask questions of you, or if we might be missing something. So.
We always like to say, if you're like me and you don't really enjoy pulling all of your tax information together, maybe you don't want to fill out the 20 pages of information that you've had in the past. This is what we ask you to fill out because it's going to give us a better baseline and make sure we don't make any errors just based on miscommunication. So did you have kids? Did you have a new address? Did you change your banking information? So it's about 20 questions. Most of them are yes or no. And if it's a yes answer, it'll typically say something like, give us the letter, tell us your kid's social security number and birthday. But we always like to say, if you don't want to fill anything else out and you don't have to, this is the most important thing for us to get so that we don't make any errors on your return just based on a lack of communication. So very important here.
Yeah. If you have any questions about filling this out, don't know what something means, and you want us to either elaborate or just maybe go with you, walk with you during it, give us a call. We're happy to do this because, like I said, it helps us tremendously when we go to prepare your return.
Definitely. We just got another question in, which is great. Can we sign up for the new portal via your website, or will you send us a link? So we will send you a link for that. If you specifically would like one like today, you can even send me a chat or just send it to me as a question and I can get that set up for you today. Everyone, all clients will get like a formal email in early January. to sign up specifically, but if you want one sooner rather than later and you'd like your returns logged, like literally you can send me a chat right now and I'll get that set up for you today. Great question. The chat is disabled. Great. You can send it to me through the question and answer button. Sorry about that. And thank you. All right, last set of recommendations for us thinking about tax season for 2021.
Sending us your information as early as possible. So if you start sending us either at the end of January, beginning of February, you're catching us at a time where we're not as busy. You're kind of getting ahead of the list and we're getting your stuff done earlier. Like I said, this is going to increase the amount of accuracy. We're not saying that we're going to prepare something wrong, but we're busy at sometimes. And so that's what we want to promote, is getting us in early so we can get you done as fast as possible.
So big question we always get, because we do have a lot of clients that get a late tax document in March. What if I don't get a K1 until late in the season? Do I wait to send you everything, or do I send you everything and then send the K1?
Send us everything you have. And what we're going to do is we're going to prepare the return through about 99% of the way, and then up until that last K1, and then we're going to then enter that K1 once we receive it, and then finish your return up. That way we're not waiting, and then you get the K1 and we prepare it in the middle of March, end of April. Whereas if you send us everything in mid to early February, we get it done, and we just have to wait till maybe March to get it. We enter it in, we finish it.
Excellent, perfect. How should I send you my information? A big question I always get is like, do I have to use the web portal?
You do not.
No.
Even though it's nice and it's great, you can either fax, mail, you can email it through a secure link. We don't recommend you just send your tax documents just through regular email. However you prefer. We don't want you to go out of your comfort zone just to get us your information or try to make us happy. We're happy however way you're comfortable.
Yeah, the key for us is that you send it to us in a way that feels organized. We have some clients who feel like they have to scan or take pictures of all of their stuff and upload them individually, which can be very frustrating. So if that is not how you like to send us your stuff, please send it to us via mail. There are plenty of clients I'll send a FedEx label to. I'm happy to print out a FedEx label for you and send it, so that all you need to do is attach your documents and put it through FedEx. We're very happy to accommodate whatever. We're always going to offer the web portal because it's a fairly easy solution. But if you don't have access to it, or if it's something that feels more tedious to you, like, please give us a call. You can fax us. I can send you a secure link to upload it to. You can use the web portal. You can use the mail. Typically, we're going to recommend FedEx or UPS because there's a little bit more security of information there. Like, the Postal Service, as you know, hasn't been at its best. Next question. Is it an audit risk to extend? So it's late in the season. I don't have my stuff together. The deadline is next week. Should I force everything through, Jacob?
No,
No.
we recommend extending for a couple reasons. One, when you extend, you have till October 15th to file your return. That puts you into a time frame where it is less audited by the IRS. The IRS audit range is between the mid to late March to early April to April 15th. So it puts you out of that audit range. Two, you're catching us at a time where we're not as busy. We can spend more time talking to you, seeing what ways we can help, what ways we can, maybe change some of your financial tax questions you have, and answer anything. And we're more, not, like I said, not going to be stressed out, not going to be working 80 hours a week.
Not that we are stressed out. Like, some of that's just part of the job, but I think too, like, the thing that we really like to capitalize on is we just can't have that longer call with you during the tax season. A lot of times, if we need to have a bigger conversation or maybe a planning situation, we're going to have to schedule that for the summer too. So we really like to be able to extend to do your tax return and have that conversation at the same time. If you don't want to extend and that makes you nervous, very happy to do the tax return during the tax season. It's not a problem at all, but definitely send us your information early, because again, we're more able to have those longer conversations. really meet your concerns and I think ultimately like kind of have that better flow of information the earlier that we could get it. So however you want to send us however you want to send us your information, whenever you want us to do your return, we're very open, but definitely consider sending it early or extending for that kind of like longer communication. Last question. I have heard that the IRS has hired 80,000 new agents. Should I be worried, Jake?
No.
No.
You might be hearing through commercials that they're all coming for you. That's not the case.
They're not coming.
They aren't. Here at HKA, we're always going to strive to have the most accurate. We're going to try to make sure we're doing everything properly. Signing up for your IRS account, following all the precautions that we give, sending any notices to HKA is just going to make sure that you're up to date, you're being transparent. It's not going to be as big of a deal as some people make it seem like it's going to be.
Yeah, just to underscore what Jake said, like our intent here at HKA is to give you the best client service experience possible. If you get a notice, send it to us. We will take a look at it and tell you what the next steps are. We're always going to be as transparent as possible. And if we were to make a mistake on the return, we take care of that at no charge to you. The IRS isn't like looking around for errors, still trying to get themselves back in order. They have a huge lag on tax returns that hasn't been processed. So a lot of this is about them trying to figure out how to process literally millions of returns that they haven't processed yet. So the key here is accuracy, giving us the right information. Don't rush through things, really think through it. And as long as you do that, we're going to file the most accurate return possible for you. And we're going to walk through any interactions with the IRS that may occur in the future, but not something to worry about. It's certainly not something to panic about. And again, if you need to have a longer conversation with HKA, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're very happy to talk to you. All right. Any other questions right now? So one other question. Any tax changes for 2023?
Not that I've heard. They had some of the Inflation Reduction Act, which I was kind of mentioned in a couple other webinars, but I think there hasn't been a ton of changes this year. It's going to be mostly the same.
And if you'd like to have a longer conversation, obviously like that encompasses a lot of space. If you'd like to have a year-end conversation with anyone, Blake or Jordan or Jake or Crystalline, just reach out to us and we're happy to get something scheduled with you so we could be a little bit more specific on things that you personally might want to think about too.
Definitely.
Great. Any other questions that we can answer for you today? So we've got HKA's kind of global information here, office at hkaglobal.com, and our HKA phone number here. Please feel free to reach out. I've already gotten one question on sending a web account, so we'll get that set up for you. If anyone else would like a web account set up, like I said, just please send us an email, contact me directly. I will get that taken care of for you. And don't hesitate to contact us if there's anything else you need. Thank you so much for attending today, and we look forward to working with you next year. All right.
See you.
Thanks.